Good morning students, welcome to the Shiva group of school online class. Today we continue this same lesson of that the volume 2, that is 8th lesson, physical and chemical equilibrium, and today concept that is equilibrium constant of heterogeneous. Okay, heterogeneous means already we learned about that solid have to change into gaseous or gaseous have to change into solid or liquid. So that is the depending on that states level. Okay, for example calcium carbonate, that is the calcium carbonate, that is the solid state, have to convert into calcium oxide along with carbon dioxide. In this calcium oxide, that is the solid state, and carbon dioxide, that is the gaseous states. Okay, so obviously that is considered as the heterogeneous equilibrium. So we can write that equilibrium constant formula method means that is product by reactant. So what is the product? CaO and CO2 divided by what is the reactant? CaCO3, that is calcium carbonate. Okay, so you just notice that both are the solid, remaining the CO2 only the gaseous states. So I am going to consider as the concentration of that constant CO2 gaseous state. Okay, so if you want to write down for that partial pressure Kp means is equal to the P of CO2, the pressure of carbon dioxide. So this is the heterogeneous equilibrium of that constants. Okay students, likewise move on to this applications. So what is that application of the constant of equilibrium? So the predict of the directions in which the net reactions will be take place, and predict the extent of the reactions, and the calculate the equilibrium, the concentrations of that reactant and product. So this is the most important of the applications for the constant of equilibrium. Okay, if you have to notice for the tabulations of the page number 10, the value of the Kc means the concentration of the constant of equilibrium. So if that is that less than value for that concentrations for 10 to the power of minus 3. So you just consider for that less than and greater than and neutral. So எந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு ஸ்டேட்ஸில் உங்களுக்கு அந்த டெம்பரேச்சர்ஸ் ஈக்குலிபிரியமாக இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா தட் இஸ் டிபெண்டிங் ஆன் தட் இந்த டேப்லேஷன்ஸில் உங்களுக்கு கொடுத்துருக்காங்க என்ன மாதிரியான ஒரு ரிசல்ட்ஸ் கொடுக்கும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஃபஸ்ட்டு திங் ரிலேட்டிவ் கான்சன்ட்ரேஷன் ஆஃப் த ரியாக்டன் அண்ட் ப்ராடக்ட். ஸோ தட் இஸ் less than of the Kc of 10 to the power of minus 3 means product the less than of reactants. The same thing for neutral means, so either less than or greater than, that is a neutral Kc means we can get significant quantity of the product and reactant. So depending on that the 10 to the power of minus 3 of that value for Kc, that is that how to be getted for that reactant and product. So அந்த கேட்டகரிஸ் தான் நமக்கு டேப்லேஷன்ஸில் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஸோ யூ ஹேவ் டு வெரிஃபை ஃபார் த டேப்லேஷன்ஸ் அண்ட் ப்ரெடிக்டிங் ஆஃப் த டைரக்ஷன்ஸ். ஸோ தட் ஆல்சோ இட்ஸ் இன்டிமேட் ஃபார் தட் த சேம் திங் ஃபார் த டிபெண்டன்ட் ஆஃப் தட் Kc. ஸோ வாட்ச் அவுட் ஃபார் தட் த பேஜ் நம்பர் 11 we can get that 8.4 the pictures. It will be explained for that reactants it gives product equilibrium and product it gives reactants. Okay, so we have to notice for the green color and blue colors, then Qc and Kc, that is progress reactions. Once Q once is decreased, that is, and obviously Kc is increased, otherwise it's both are equal, or the opposite directions, Qc is increased, Kc that is decreased. That is the important thing for that the application of equilibrium constants. Okay students, now coming to this, the examples also have in this textbook. You just verify for that the Kc and Kp relationship of the calculations also. Now that is the concentration of the reactants and the products at the equilibrium உடைய calculations உங்களுக்கு நம்ம இப்போ சொல்ல போகிறோம். ஸோ நீங்கள் ஆல்ரெடி இந்த calculations வந்து ஃபஸ்ட் லெசன் வால்யூம் 1ல் ஃபஸ்ட் லெசனில் பார்த்த ஒரு calculations தான். ஸோ பேஸ்ட் ஆன் தட் மீன்ஸ் யூ ஜஸ்ட் ஹாவ் டு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் ஈஸிலி. ஸோ இது கொஞ்சம் கூட இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்காகவும் இருக்குது, ஏன்னா ஆல்ரெடி நான் சொன்னது இருக்குது, அதனால் உங்கள் அதோட ரிலேட் பண்ணி நீங்கள் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ண போகிறீங்க. ஸோ உங்களுக்கு இது கூட இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்டாகவும் இருக்கும். சரியா, இப்போ அதை பார்க்கலாம். ஸோ calculations of the concentration of reactant and product means the general thing for the formula hydrogen react with iodine means we can get hydrogen iodide. So all those things have that same states, that is gaseous states. So have to make the tabulations and have to go for that the stoichiometric process and hydrogen for reactant and iodine for the reactant. That is hydrogen iodide, that is the product. Okay, the initial number of moles here, the 1 mole of hydrogen, 1 mole of iodine. So AB, that is nil portions of the hydrogen iodide for that reactant. So reactant position la HI உடைய react position வந்து 0. நீங்கள் ப்ராடக்ட் மீன்ஸ் அப்போ தான் நீங்கள் அந்த இடத்துல ப்ளேஸ் பண்ணணும். ரியாக்டண்ட்டில் அங்கே ப்ளேஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது, 0 வேல்யூ தான் போடணும். ஏன்னா இந்த இடத்துல உங்களுக்கு இனிஷியல் நம்பர் ஆஃப் மோல்ஸ், இனிஷியலாக நீங்கள் யூஸ் பண்ணக்கூடியது ஹைட்ரஜன் அயோடின் மட்டும்தான். ரிசல்ட்ஸ் தான் ஹெச்ஐ கிடச்சிருக்கு. அதனால தான் ஹெச்ஐயில் உங்களுக்கு ஹைட்ரஜன் அயோடைடில் 0s போட்டிருக்காங்க. இங்கே வந்து ஏபி அப்படின்னு இன்டிமேட் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. ஓகேவா? அண்ட் மூவ் ஆன் டு திஸ் நெக்ஸ்ட் நம்பர் ஆஃப் மோல்ஸ் அண்ட் ரியாக்டட், that is x and 0. So depending on that variations. Okay, and number of moles at the equilibrium, a minus x, b minus x, and that is 0. Why? Because have to intimate 2x means the 2 molecules of hydrogen iodide. So here only have to intimate for the product value. So in previous state no one for the replace of the values on the initial number and number of moles. Okay va? So number of equilibrium la மட்டும் தான் உங்களுக்கு இந்த ப்ராடக்ட்டோட வேல்யூஸை நீங்கள் ப்ளேஸ் பண்ணுவீங்க. அது வரைக்கும் உங்களுக்கு ஜீரோஸில் தான் ரிமைனிங்கில் வரும். ஓகேவா? ஸோ ஃபைனலிஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆக்டிவ் மாஸ் ஆர் மாலிகுலர் கான்சன்ட்ரேஷன்ஸ் மீன்ஸ் a minus x by v, that is the volume, and b minus x by v and 2x by v. Okay, so this is the tabulations. So next step, have to substitute for the Kc value. So Kc, that is obviously product by reactant, product Hi, reactant H plus I. So in this value also have that active mass. So active mass value have to substitute for that formula, means have to simplify. We can get 4x square by a minus x, b minus x. Okay, first have to substitute and have to simplify. Finally have to write down that 4x square by ax and bx. Okay, and have to convert into this Kp is equal to Kc RT delta Ng. That is a general thing, relationship between அப்படி நம்ம பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா. ஸோ இதை பேஸ் பண்ணி நம்ம எப்படி ஃபைண்ட் அவுட் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னு பார்க்கலாம். So delta Ng means the product minus the reactant. So how many products of this number of product is there? Yes, 2. And how many reactant is implement to this reaction? 1 plus 1, that also 2. So 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. So obviously delta Ng 0 means, that is the formula, Kp is equal to Kc delta Ng. Delta Ng is 0 means Kp is equal to Kc. Okay, so Kp equal to Kc in these derivations using that calculations is verified. Okay, so likewise another examples also is there. So I will explain you for the next. So the next concept of this, the same calculation for dissociation of PCl5. So PCl5 is decomposed to have to get PCl3 and Cl2. That is the pentachloride வந்துட்டு trichloride phosphorus ஆகும் chlorine ஆகும் நம்மளுக்கு convert ஆகும். So that also the same component of the state in this gaseous states. So to make a tabulation as per that the previous statement, PCl5, that is the reactant, and product PCl3 and Cl2. Okay, the initial number of the moles A and 0. So already explained for that the reactant, the product is have to 0. Okay, so reactant have to consider A as well. For the likewise the association of the moles also for A means X, and that also have to go for 0. And number of moles of equilibrium. So in these portions only important for the make the value for reactant and product also. Okay, so A minus X, and how many moles of that PCl3? Yes, only 1, so X. Cl2, yes, that also 1, so X. Okay, and what is that active mass? That is A minus X by V, X by V, X by V. So we have to know about that all the values in PCl5, PCl3, PCl2. So likewise have to substitute for the Kc and simplify for that the value. So finally x square by A minus xv. So that is the last step, and move on to this the another step of partial pressure. So delta Ng value, that is pressure minus reactant. Here that is not a pressure, it's a product minus reactant. So product means how many is there? Yes, 2 product, and that is PCl3 and Cl2. And how many reactant is implement to this reaction means only 1. So 2 minus 1, it means have to give for the value is 1. So delta Ng the value is 1 means Kp is equal to Kc RT. Okay, so because of that one value, so RT உடைய value 0 இருந்ததா RT full omit ஆயிடும். So value 1 வந்ததுனால நீங்க RT இங்க intimate பண்றீங்க. So finally have to related with the, what is that? Yes, ideal gas means PV is equal to nRT. So RT means PV by N. Okay, so same thing for that, have to go for the N, the total number of moles equilibrium. N is equal to A minus X plus X plus X. So final we have to get A plus X. Okay, so we can write that Kp value as per the formula x square by Ax A minus X into V, that is PV by N, and Kp is equal to x square by A minus X V and PV by A plus X, and Kp have to write x square P by A minus X and A plus X. So we have the variety of the partial pressures of the constant value depending on that ideal gas. Okay. Okay students, this is the today video concept. I hope you understand about that, the previous concept and today concept also, and as per the time you have to send out for the homeworks in evening 5 o'clock. Thank you students.